Hello folks, this is callisto8413. This is going to be my first recording. Um, I decided to use YouTube to do some reviews. I have about 1,900 reviews on Amazon.com. I figured I would try YouTube. I think written text reviews is polished. Probably going to be a little better at that. But YouTube, I do get to kind of use the visual as well as the audio, and there's actually going to be some advantages to that. What I'm going to review right now is actually War of the Worlds. So I could do this without screwing up. Okay, that's obviously the cover. Jeff Wayne's musical used for the book. I got this in England when I was a kid. I had to go all the way to England to get War of the Worlds. I also bought a few horror books, The Rats, but that's something else. As you all know, it's pretty much a classic. It's been made into a few movies. It's been made into illustrated versions, audio books, so on and so forth. The idea being that he wanted to kind of think about the most horrible thing that could happen, kind of like Lovecraft. Fear is one of the greatest emotions. And to him, I guess, he thought, what would the English do if they, because they're the center of the universe, was attacked, and kind of kicked them off their little pedestal. It's a wonderful book. I'm not sure actually if I could tell you any more than you don't. You probably already know about the Panic broadcast. It's been played by more than one nation. More than one place has actually played it, changed it around. It's been played in South America, played in Buffalo, New York. So it's actually very effective, the idea of we're not the center of the universe. What I would like to show is that there's actually quite a few spin-offs. Besides the movies and the TV series. First season's great, second season sucks. There's also other books where people tried to, there it's centered. People tried to make money or just wanted to continue what was a great setting. One of the better ones, The Space Machine, which combines The Time Machine and War of the Worlds. One of the official sequels that came out shortly after War of the Worlds. It was in the newspapers, like the Three Musketeers. It wasn't really a book first, it was a series of chapters, just like the Time Machine was. This one, of course, is made by the Americans, and it's not very good. You want to probably read it. I don't want to give it away, but it's really not very good. But other people have also liked to make their own mixture. Sherlock Holmes, War of the Worlds. I also have books about Sherlock Holmes and Lovecraft. Sherlock Holmes versus Dracula. Sherlock Holmes gets into a lot of things. But the premise kind of gets lost. I mean, the idea, the fear that we are not the center of the universe is not really in those books, because these books are really authors are like, oh, that's a great idea, let's continue. Oh, let's figure out what's going to do. Let's invade Mars, let's continue and all that. Even though the original book left it kind of open. The aliens are dying. There's evidence they've tried to go to Venus. There's no evidence they're not going to try again. He left it very much open near the end. There's some criticism that he kind of made the ending was kind of weak. In the end, he's talking about God and his wisdom left us with bacteria and stuff like that. You think the aliens would have kind of done something to counteract that. In fact, in the second War of the Worlds, which is in a parallel universe, so technically it's not the second war there, the aliens do actually have two ideas. They actually give themselves shots to protect them from human cooties and all that. And they actually also, on the second invasion, they have human agents on the planet. But it's not our planet. It's a parallel universe. It seems our invasion of Earth was a test, and they went back to their original planet, another Mars, another universe, and attacked that planet. And by the way, there's a Sherlock Holmes in this one too. space machine, which I said once again is kind of a time machine in War of the Worlds, is a lot thicker. Priest is a well-known sci-fi author. He wanted to examine more the culture of Mars and get into what's happening on Mars. In the War of the Worlds, this one, oh, excuse me, this one, there's evidence that the Martians had humanoids that they were feeding off of. So in this one, he wants to get more into the culture, and he links the humanoids with the Martians. His suggestion, I don't want to spoil anything, but his suggestion was the Martians were advanced, genetically engineered. You know, the Martians knew something was going wrong. They needed people with great brain power to figure out how to deal with the environmental issues, and those people took over. So the Martians are actually just artificially bred Martians. The humanoids in the original book were also Martians. So it's kind of a class system taken on. I think probably because of the time machine. That's where Priest got the idea. And of course, there is also the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. The Volume 2 also deals with the war machines of the Martians, the Martian Invasion. And once again, I don't want to give a spoiler away, but the way they handle it is by germ warfare, and this kind of makes many of the characters in the book somewhat uneasy, unhappy with the British government. Who are we working for? They're making this kind of stuff, and you can actually, the authors suggested that, for example, Nemo, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, broke off and went on his rampage because of what happened in the second book. So it's very interesting. War of the Worlds really does affect a lot of our culture. They were talking about how when we invaded Afghanistan and Iraq, that our weapons were so advanced, even compared to the Russian equipment the Iraqis were using, that it was really, from their point of view, a War of the Worlds. Especially from the civilian point of view, when they're getting attacked from hundreds of miles away, they don't know what's going on. Their buildings are being destroyed. There's actually a few books. I think one book was from a first person's point of view, a civilian in Iraq. It was pretty much War of the Worlds for them. I think they actually used the subtitle of that. So the book has a lot of influence on us. And next time I'll probably talk about the time machine, because that is also a huge influence. We like to think about the future, what mankind's going to become. We always end up using those books and movies as political debates as much as anything else. And there are a few sequels I could show you, some good, some bad. Most of these are really good. They get a little weird. There's magic in this one. There's also submarines, if you're kind of Victorian steampunk kind of thing. This one is hard to describe. You can like it or you don't like it. It's very weird. The people who made this one got his permission to put him into it and give him credit for the inventions of the space ships and the weapons. But it was quite obvious that outside of the title, they had never actually read any of the work by H.G.Wells. They were putting stuff out to make money. Let's get a sequel out, guys. So that's what that's about. And that's it. I think I'll just end this. This is, like I said, one of my first ones. So I wonder how it's going to go. Bye-bye.